The keys to the gym. Come on, let's go. I'm here for basketball tryouts. What you out here for? I came for basketball. That's why I'm dressed like this. Anyway. I thought it was funny, I guess.
I laughed. I got you.
We're a tough crowd.
I got you.
All right. So, the whole basis of everything today was entrepreneurship evolving, right? So, in my journey as an entrepreneur is why? Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? If you don't mind me asking. If y'all don't want to answer, you don't have to answer.
So that I can be my own boss, my own terms.
What about you?
To have control over my own product.
How about yourself?
Because I wouldn't survive in corporate America if I had to go back.
Tell me, preach. Dana,
For time freedom.
time for it. Alicia,
Yeah, I don't want to work for anybody
don't
else.
want to work for
Do
you,
it that way.
right? So, when you know why it is that you do something, that is what keeps you committed to doing it. So the first word that I wanted to use, I like using words, right, is commitment. So I'm gonna give you the little quick definition of commitment. And the definition of commitment is an agreement or pledge to do something in the future, especially an engagement to assume a financial obligation at a future date. Okay? So that's the definition of commitment. And the Webster's Dictionary of Entrepreneurship is one who organizes, manages, or assumes the risks and responsibilities of a business or enterprise. Sound kind of similar, don't it? So in order to be an entrepreneur, you got to be committed. You got to be willing to do what you have to do, to change when you need to change, to evolve. This is this meeting stated. Entrepreneurship evolving. So a lot of times in business we have to change with the trending times. So now my new venture in business and being an entrepreneur is I signed up for a course to become a motivational speaker. So I'm changing. So kind of like I don't know if you guys ever heard of Eric Thomas, E.T. He's one of the top guys. He dresses like this, so I'm copying off him. He started doing it right from the start. I decided to do it right from the start as well. So I always like to say in business, you never really lose. You just either earn or you learn. Let's say you did something in business and it didn't specifically work. Now you know what not to do. You know how to do things in a different way in order to have success with that. Also like to say in business, an entrepreneur, maybe similar to a lot of people like to use the word hustle now. What do? I hustle, I do this, I do that. So the definition of a hustler is to make money in any endeavor that they partake in. Okay? So in anything and everything, I always feel like the best way to get a point across or to get something done is to tell a story. A story of somebody else who maybe had great accomplishment, but went through the rigors of failure. Any of you guys ever heard of Colonel Sanders, KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken? He's one of my favorite stories because he failed in business miserably so many times where he could have simply given up hope. Colonel Sanders was born in 1890. At the age of 6, Colonel Sanders' dad passed away, and he had to cook and clean for his siblings at the age of 6. Could you imagine at the age of 6 any of you guys got kids? Anybody have kids here?
Me?
Kids, yeah? Could you imagine your 6-year-old cooking and cleaning for their siblings?
I don't want their food.
At the age of 16, Colonel Sanders faked his age and enlisted in the Army. He was honorably discharged 1 year later, and he started working for the railway as a laborer. He got into a fight, and he was fired from that job. Somehow Colonel Sanders got into another fight after getting into that fight and getting into legal trouble, and now he was at a point where he no longer had money to live on his own. He had to move back home with mom. He decided to sell insurance. It wasn't until the age of 40 that Colonel Sanders actually started selling his chicken. You know how he started selling his chicken? Right out the trunk of his car at gas stations. Okay? So those 20 years in between that, he had, I think it was 28 different jobs where he was hired and fired, where he could have simply given up and quit along the way. his dream of being an entrepreneur. You know, most people, they get told no or quit or fired 3 or 4 times, and some of them give up. You know, we see some of the people, sometimes some of the people are homeless, they live with their parents, and they no longer move on and do things that can help them succeed in business. At the age of 40, from 40 to 65, Colonel Sanders was able to open up several successful stores from selling his chicken out the back of his car. He went bankrupt at 65. Lost everything. Luckily, he was close to the age of 66. So at the age of 66, he started getting a Social Security check. His first Social Security check was for $101. What do y'all think he did with that?
A mess.
You know what he did with that? He got on the road, started selling his chicken again while living in his car. You know, by the time Colonel Sanders was 70, he was the head figure of $1 billion corporation. He sold that and was able to retire. He died at the age of 92. That's success. Another one is Thomas Edison. Any of you guys ever heard of him? Now, see, I'm from Jersey, or, you know, I've lived in Jersey for quite some time, so this story is near and dear. Thomas Edison, at the age of 8, was sent home with a note from his school for his mom to read only. His mom opened that letter up, and she read it to him. She said, "Thomas, ma'am, your son is too smart. You must teach him at home. He can't learn here at our school. It isn't big enough." She put the letter back in the envelope and filed it away with her things. Moving forward 50 years, his mother passed away. Thomas Edison is now who he is, possibly the greatest inventor ever. He's going through his mom items, and he comes across this letter. He opens this letter up, and you know what this letter says? Your son is ineligible to learn at our school. He's not smart. We can no longer teach him. Don't bring him back ever again. Bored him to tears. The power in that is, irregardless of who doesn't believe in you, if you have somebody who believes in you, somebody who's there for you and is willing to teach you, they can take you from failure to success if the belief is there. So the last person story I like to talk about quite a bit is Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry, anybody heard of him, Madea and stuff like that? So he was homeless too, living in his car as well, when he produced his first Madea stage play. Being told no over and over again. You know how he eventually got on is he started doing it for free at churches. Doing this for free at churches, he was able to get somebody to say, "Hey, can you come and do it at this stage and we'll pay you." He was living in his 1992 blue Geo Metro, which he now parks in front of his biggest TV movie studio in the world. Tyler Perry now owns the biggest TV movie studio in the world. He has that blue Geo Metro parked in front of the building. The name of that building is Dream Building. Just to remind him where he came from. Being broke, hungry, living in his car. Now, what does he have? The most successful business, but he keeps that car there just to keep him humble. So I'll close with my story and why I'm an entrepreneur and why I do what I do and why I don't quit, never quit, won't quit, right? So I met this beautiful woman here at age of 20, 21, maybe something like that. We just recently celebrated our 25th marriage anniversary. You know, Dana wasn't my first wife. She was not my first wife. I'm a military person. I enlisted in the military right out of high school, and I got married. I got married in 1994. I was 19, she was 29. Probably wasn't the best idea. I couldn't believe I tell my uncles and everybody nobody kicked me in my head. Y'all I'm just doing good. That was a dumb idea, right? Anyway, needless to say, that didn't last. But I didn't let that failure stop me. I didn't let that failure not allow me to see the opportunity of what I really wanted when Dana introduced herself to me. Okay? Me and Dana made a commitment when we decided to get married and build a family that we will raise our children to to have a better life than what we had. We decided to break the generational curses of divorce, of children out of wedlock, things of that sort. We wanted to be an example for our family of a healthy married couple. I can say that we've been successful in that arena. So along the way, my first daughter was born, Tiffany Nicole. Tiffany was born, and I was at work at the airport, and Dana was home, and I got a phone call. Tiffany just took her first steps, and I wasn't there. So why am I an entrepreneur? I'm an entrepreneur because that day I decided that I'm not going to ever miss anything that my kids have. Anything, I'm going to be there. And that's one thing my kids can never say is that daddy wasn't there. Everything, I've been there. So that oldest daughter, who I missed her first steps, went on to do pretty good in the athletic arena. My oldest daughter, Tiffany Nicole, is a 2-time collegiate All-American athlete. She now currently has a master's degree in criminal justice. Our second daughter, Taylor Page, just as successful. She was a pageant finalist in high school. She's the beauty. So, we got an athlete, then we got a beauty. So the beauty, she graduated college with a bachelor's degree. She now works for, Carrier. She works for Carrier. She has a pretty good job, and she's doing well for herself. Right from high school, college, never came home. Then we have a third. We have a son. Now, he didn't go right to college, but you know what? At the age of 18, his high school, the class that he's in, the class that he was in, he just graduated, they released an album. They released a studio album. So he's a up-and-coming rapper. He actually has about 10 tracks, and he's soon to come out with an album of his own. So I feel as though what I intended to do, or what we intended to do in the commitment of raising a happy, healthy family, was the reason why I wanted to be an entrepreneur, so I could control my time. So I don't have to worry about being told when I could take off or if I could take off. Anything and everything involving my children, I've always been there. Anything and everything involving my family, I've been there. I've been there for my mother taking her last breath on earth and had the opportunity to take care of her during her last months of life. The same thing with my father. I had the opportunity to be there for him during his last months of life and be there when he took his last breath on earth. I didn't have to ask anybody for time off, a day off, or anything to take care of my family. My primary responsibility in life, I feel as though, is being a father, a husband, a brother, a son, a cousin, a friend. Those are the reasons why I'm an entrepreneur and I'll never quit. I won't let any failure, I won't let anything stop me. I've had many jobs, I've had many businesses, and I'm glad to say I haven't had a job, quote unquote, since 2008. I don't know how it is, I'm blessed. I'm a good wife, right? But the reasoning on why I'm an entrepreneur is that reason. So I want to ask you guys, again, why are you an entrepreneur? Why are you going to keep going when the door closes and when they tell you no? Why won't you stop when what you're doing isn't working and you got to change and do and go in a different direction? Why are you an entrepreneur? Always keep that at the forefront of your business and whatever it is that you do, and make sure, no matter what, that you made that commitment, not only to your business, but to yourself. Thanks.